So, how do you intend to better yourselves?
Better ourselves. Mister, when you're from Skid Row, ain't no such thing. Alarm goes off at 7, and you start uptown. You put in your 8 hours for the powers that have always been.
Sing it, child.
Till it's 5 p.m.
Then you go
Downtown, where the folks are broke, you go downtown. Where your life's a joke, you go downtown. When you buy your token, you go
Home to Skid Row.
home to Skid Row.
Yes, you go
Downtown,
Where the cabs don't stop.
downtown,
where the food is slop.
downtown, where the hotbeds flop in the snow. Down on Skid Row. Uptown, you cater to a million jerks. Uptown, your messengers and mailroom clerks. Eating all your lunches at the hot dog carts. The bosses take your money and they break your hearts. And uptown, you cater to a million whores. You disinfect Orozco on their bathroom floors. Your morning's tribulation, afternoon's a curse. And 5 o'clock is even worse.
That's when you go.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Eastside TV. We are here today with Mr. Gambino, East Theater Director, and members of the cast. Aiden Rude from Eastside is here to interview them, find out more about the show that will begin streaming tonight. So before we get into other business, can you explain to everyone how and when they can watch the show?
Sure. Caitlin, why don't you get on that? When can you watch a show? How do you watch a show?
So
Shop
we're
the
gonna
Heart.
have 2 streaming events. Due to weather, it'll be tomorrow night, not today. So it'll be tomorrow night will be Redcast, and that will be on the turf. We're showing that like as if it were a movie. Tickets are sold out for that. And then next Friday on May 7th, we'll be showing the White Cast, which will also be the same sort of like drive-in movie, sit on the turf kind of situation. In addition to that, you can also stream the show, I suppose tonight, and then also Sunday, and then you can also next weekend, Saturday and Sunday.
On showtix4u.com. So showtix4u.com. You can stream it tonight, tomorrow, Sunday, and then same next week.
And just to clarify, is it the number 4 or is it the word?
It is the number 4. It's show, Tix, 4, the letter U.com. If you just search Cherry Hill East, you should be able to find it, and then choose the cast you want to check out. Hopefully you check out both casts and you can purchase tickets.
Thank you.
So after such a challenging year, and a year with so many unexpected obstacles to a production like this, what does it mean to you all to have the show go on tonight?
Well, I think that we've really stuck to our motto, anytime, any place, anywhere, and that it's really shown out through this past year, like with COVID and everything, and then the year before since we were at West. So like this is the real, like we're actually back at East this year, even though it's not like normal per se, but it does mean a lot to be able to perform at East rather than like West.
Yeah, I can jump on that a little bit as well. I've said this so many times. This was true with Clue and even more so with Little Shop. It's just been like such an incredible source of joy for the cast to have, you know, a sense of normalcy. And it's been such a huge gift to be able to create art with people and see our friends, and then to be in our home theater as well has been really amazing.
When you recorded this, I know it's different from a usual show because people will not be seeing it live. Were most of the scenes done on one take, or did you redo some of them?
We redid a lot. of everything. We had like 5 different cameras, like all on the stage. Like some were having like medium shots, some were having long shots, and it was just like, and we just over and over again, like cut, let's start that over again. And like the amount of times that me and the other girls had to change out of a costume that we had to quick change into to restart filming for that same scene, too many times.
Anyone else?
I've been,
Anyone else want to chime in on that? On what it was like to film versus just do something once live, you know, and it is what it is.
Yeah, jumping off of what Carly was saying, it was a constant like having to preset all of your props and stuff. Because I remember for one scene that we did it like 5 times when it was, I had to get all of my stuff onto the coat rack and take it back with me and go all the way back to the side of the stage and come all the way back out and do it all over again. And it was a lot. It got to a point where I was like, are we finally gonna get a good take? But we did end up getting a good take, so I'm glad that we took the time to do that, but it was just a lot in the moment.
So overall, whether it be...
Sorry, Aiden. Can I just ask Charlie? Charlie, can you talk to a little bit about what it was like to be in that puppet when we might have asked for a 3rd or 4th or an 8th take?
In like the beginnings, like in the early scenes, it wasn't that bad because I hadn't been in there for like an hour or two, so I wasn't tired yet. But once we got to the finale and we kept redoing the finale and I was standing in it and I wasn't like sitting down in the little pod, it was exhausting having to go back and forth. And I just plopped down at the end whenever we finished a take. And then you'd be like, all right, can we get one more? And then I just pick myself back up, carry myself over, and then just hope that next take would be the one.
I wish that y'all were there to see the way that the plant would flop. Like the way that Charlie would flop the plant after he said cut. It was really funny.
So overall, throughout the production, whether it be in creating the set or in filming the actual takes or just preparing for it, what would you say, and this really could be a question for anyone, have been some of the most challenging aspects and then also some of the most exciting or the best aspects of the production of your show?
I think one of the most exciting aspects would be like actually being able to get back on stage after a whole year of not really being able to do anything anywhere. So it was a very good experience to just be back into like a normal acting atmosphere.
Yeah, and very similar to what Anthony was just saying, being able to sing and perform together when for the past year we've been all by ourselves trying to piece together virtual things. This is really cool that we got to be together and rehearse together as a group.
I want to touch on like the challenge aspect because for me, I'm not a dancer first at all. And the whole part is basically singing and dancing at the same time, which, that was a little scary at first for me. But I think it was really cool, like working with the other girls and like seeing the process as it goes along and like seeing everybody like grow over the whole show experience.
So Little Shop is maybe my favorite show, definitely top 3. I'm by no means a theater expert, but I've enjoyed this for a long time. I like the Rick Moranis version from the 80s. I like the version that was 30 years before that. There's another version from the TV show Have a Class. But I know a lot of people who are going to see this show are probably not familiar with it. So what would you say to someone who doesn't really know what Little Shop of Horrors is? What should they expect as far as the plot and as far as the way that the show looks and sounds?
Eat the plants.
I can speak on that a little bit. I would say it's not your typical, big Broadway, beautiful costumes kind of show. It's a lot campier. I think it's very up our alley this year because it's like kind of like sci-fi, blood and gore. So you've got your main character Seymour, and he lives on Skid Row. He works in a flower store with Mr. Mushnick and his love interest Audrey, who is dating a not so nice guy. He's a dentist named Oren, and he finds this alien plant who we learn can talk, and then the plant coerces him to feed him blood and then eventually people for fame, fortune, money, and it's all the moral of the story is really what good people can become when tempted by greed.
I would also like to add on to that. I also think like, while at the same time it has some goofy moments, it can also be very like gritty, and you can like see that in the ensemble characters. Like they all have different aspects of what like life would be like on Skid Row. Like I know there's somebody that just walks around with a shopping cart full of trash, which is very entertaining to watch.
And I guess what I would add to this as well is something that I guess, everybody has a favorite Disney movie, and the guy who composed the music, Howard Ashman, is basically responsible for the entire Disney Renaissance in the late 80s, early 90s. So things like Little Mermaid and Lion King and Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin, he made after this film. So I think, even though, like Caitlin said, I would agree 100%, this is definitely not a traditional musical. The music in it is unbelievable and very powerful, and almost every song is something that you're going to be thinking about when you leave. There's just so many good tunes in it, and not exactly what you'd expect from like a Broadway hit.
Was this a show that you think you would have done live, in non-COVID and more traditional times, or is this something that you thought was just the perfect thing to do in the format that you had to work with?
I mean, I guess yes to both of your questions. This is a show that I've loved for a long time, mostly because it's got a really cool message, and because of what it meant to me as a kid, growing up watching, the movies and the puppets and the actors who were involved in the show. I had never seen the musical up until this summer, actually. And I have to say, I like the musical a lot more than the movie, and that's saying something because I really love the movie. But the musical is really, really cool. It's got a whole different last half hour than the film does, and that's a whole different story for film appreciation class. But it also, has some different songs too. So I think, yes, would I have eventually gotten around to doing this musical? 100%, because I love it. COVID definitely expedited it because we just very simply during a production meeting said, what could we do to present a creative sort of event, something where people can come to it, it will be safe, and it's something a little bit different than just like premiering another movie on YouTube, or hey, let's film something and just put it on YouTube for YouTube Live, to kind of make the spring musical special for the seniors and the juniors and everybody else involved. So a drive-in came up, and then Little Shop and drive-ins just sort of seem to organically fit together in a way where if we were to do like Music Man and a drive-in, it's not the same, right? This has kind of got the 60s vibe, the drive-in vibe.
It was also, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, just a little piece of information. I believe in the mid-90s it took place. The faculty put on Little Shop of Horrors. That was the first faculty show.
Interesting.
I see that from old East Sides. A lot of teachers who are no longer working at East, but that was sort of the inspiration behind the faculty shows that we've done in the past 15 years, looking back at that and seeing how much fun it was for them to put that together.
Are they no longer working at East because they were fed to a hungry plant? Can you confirm or deny that?
It's either that or retirement. Those are the two possibilities.
All right, interesting.
So obviously, putting together a set and all the other work that goes on behind the scenes is always a key part of these productions. But this year, it seems like that would be even more true. So can you tell us a little bit about what went into making this show happen behind the scenes?
So
Who-
we had an amazing costumes team. They really exceeded my expectations, if I'm going to be honest, with the quality of the costumes, the amount of costumes that there were. They did, I feel like with every show, they take a little bit longer than you think. And then there's like the week or two before you're supposed to film, or Hell Week or whatever, and you're like, oh, well, I didn't even get a costume yet. But a lot of hard work really went into it, and especially with this year and our budget being lower than usual, I'm just really grateful for all the hard work that everyone put into it and stuff like that.
Piggybacking off of that, for typically we build all of our sets, but this was like the first year that I know we rented our sets. So that was really cool. And like we had like a platform that was turning. Like we definitely like would not have had that if like we built it, obviously, but that was really cool to experience because we didn't get to work with it until like literally the week of or the week before. So that was like a cool challenge. And then I think like the only thing we really built were some flats, but yeah.
I think besides that, the weirdest part was we painted the entire back wall of the theater green. If you look at it, like you won't be able to tell in the video because we used it as a green screen, but oh my gosh, we spent so long, like quite a few days, and everybody was just, on ladders and stuff like that, and they were covered in green paint. And it looks a little crazy if you look at it now. But it was so cool because you got to, have an incredible backdrop that, maybe we wouldn't have had if it was a live show. And, as we were testing it, you could put lots of crazy different effects. I think Pete Cudahy was like fire bending or something. There were explosions going on. So definitely really weird, but super cool.
Okay, so I think for our final question, I'd just like to ask, with the show going before viewers' eyes for the first time tonight, whether it's an aspect of the show itself, the story, or the sets people are going to see, the performances, etc. What are you most excited about with people seeing the show for the first time starting this weekend?
We've been done with the show since like over a month now. And I think like just finally having it be done by next week is going to be like a big weight off a lot of people's shoulders. Just because like we're doing one acts and then also like, trying to put everything together for the drive-ins and everything. And like with all the events coming up, like it's gonna decompress a lot of people, but I'm very excited for everybody to see it and all the hard work we put into it.
Thank you all. You're definitely a prime example of making the best out of a difficult situation. Theater is one of those programs that people feel like, well, if you can't be close to each other and you can't do things live, then how can theater possibly exist? And there is obviously the old adage, the show must go on. And I definitely think it's inspirational to see everything that you've done this year, and the fact that you're still doing one acts. There was a fall show, a spring show. You didn't let the pandemic stop you. And I feel like going through this experience together, I think makes you and everyone else just appreciate theater life so much more. And hopefully when things are back to normal in September, you'll look back on this and realize, how much you should appreciate what you've had. Makes sense. But if you could, one of you can just tell us one final time how people should tune in this weekend.
Who knows all the details? Who's got it? Maddie, do you have it? Naya, anybody?
All right, this weekend, April 30th, May 1st, May 2nd, May 7th, May 8th, and May 9th, you can stream Little Shop of Horrors at 7 or 7:30 p.m. I'm not sure.
Oh my gosh, 7:30
p.m.
on Fridays, Saturdays, Sunday, 2 o'clock.
Yeah. And then on showtixforyou.com, SHOWTIX for you, just the letter .com.
Awesome. Thank you all.